The EclecticIQ Intelligence Center provides a search capability to allow you to filter and explore intelligence collected by the platform. This is based on Elasticsearch, which fully indexes all of the fields for every piece of data. This means that our queries can target things like the title and description, relationships, the tag metadata, labels such as intelligence requirements and MITRE ATT&CK, and even timestamps. Everything that you see in the entity card view on the right side can be queried as part of the search language. The search language itself is based on Lucene. This means that we can reference specific attributes, for example, the title. Here we would reference it with meta.title, and we can then provide specific values or fragments. For example, I'd like to look for anything with a title including APT29. This will then return any objects where this is a valid result. Boolean logic can then be used to combine different attributes together. For example, I'd like to look for anything with the title of APT29, but I would like to only see reports, so I will query a certain type of report data, such as report. Often the query builder will also show you valid values, so when you're creating your queries, you can use this to reference. For example, here, it's showing me the Boolean operators, which I could potentially add more if I want to include additional clauses. Now, using the search capability of the platform requires two things. It requires knowledge of the Lucene query syntax. This means querying certain attributes such as the data.type or meta.title, and understanding how Boolean logic works. There are also more complex concepts, for example, grouping, such as saying I want to look for any reports or potentially indicators. Queries can therefore get complex quite quickly, and you do need to understand some of the nature of Lucene to use it effectively. The second thing is needing to understand all the possible fields that are available. If you type in data or meta, which are the two high-level objects within the data model, you can then see a very long list of fields. However, this list is often too long, lots of fields here aren't really used by every source, and so it's difficult to understand the value of every possible field. To help mitigate this issue, we've added a search interface using AI. This will take a natural language query, use an LLM to convert this into a Lucene query, and then return the results. Instead of knowing Lucene, I can now ask my queries in natural language. For example, instead of typing in data.type report and data.title, I can simply say reports discussing ransomware. This will take my query and convert it into Lucene for me. It will then run the search for me and return the results. So here we can see it's identified the data type I'm interested in, and it's identified the keyword that I cared about, and it's searching for it in the title, description, or tag fields. You can then add additional logic here, let's say in the last 30 days, and this will now understand that we're interested in a time frame. It will select an appropriate time frame field and then include that in the query. So now we're seeing reports with this keyword, but we're also seeing a limitation of data in the last 30 days. All of the time frame queries that you might include, regardless of the language, will usually conform to this one field. So if you are interested in querying data within a certain time frame, this is the primary time field that you should use to do this. Now, the AI capability for queries is capable of supporting basic queries. However, it will struggle with complex and relational queries. There is support for relational queries. For example, reports related to indicators will identify specifically that we've said related to. This will then use this to create a relational query using the related to keyword. In the query editor, when creating queries, this keyword is often offered to us, and this allows us to evaluate the data structure. For example, these reports from Alien Vault are usually associated with several entities, and so the relationship is often a useful thing to query. While this is supported to some degree by the AI search, the support is not complete, so bear that in mind when using the tool. But for basic use cases, the AI search interface is an excellent approach to quickly finding data of interest without needing to learn or remember complex Lucene logic. A very common use case would be looking for data on a topic, and that's as simple as saying reports, discussing, and then a topic of interest. Let's say a threat actor like APT29. The platform doesn't need to know that this is a threat actor or a malware or a vulnerability. If you specify those things, the search may include additional logic to look for those entity types, but most Intel searches are usually looking for data in specific fields. In this case, we can see our search has returned 8 reports related to APT29. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at eclecticiq.com and we'd be happy to discuss further. Thank you.